Hi, I'm Sanjay Nagchaudhary, Development Lead for the IBM App Connect Enterprise product. In the previous few videos, I introduced the new Discovery connector nodes that were added in IBM App Connect Enterprise version 12.0.5. In this video, I will show how you can retrieve a contact from Salesforce and use the details from the record to create an object in an Amazon S3 bucket. So I'll start by creating a new application. I'll call it Amazon and Salesforce. I'll create a new message flow. I'll call it retrieve and create. So we've added a new Salesforce request node to the flow palette. This uses the same connector discovery wizard as the other request nodes that have been added in 12.0.5. We have the previous Salesforce request node in the palette. It's still available to use for customers who are using flows which are using it. The advantage of using the new Salesforce request node is that the connector discovery wizard ensures that up-to-date schemas will always be downloaded and added to your project. So the new Salesforce request node is called Salesforce Request, and the older Salesforce request node has open brackets node discovery, close bracket next to it. For this demo, I'm going to retrieve contacts from Salesforce, and to do that, I need to add my credentials in the vault and access that through a policy. So I already have a policy project. It's called Amazon S3 Policies. I have configured a policy for accessing Amazon S3. So I'm going to add to this policy project the credentials for connecting to Salesforce. So I can right click on the policy project and select new discovery, connect to policies and credentials. And I've specified the work directory of my integration server. It contains a vault. I've specified the vault key and the credentials will be added to the vault. So I'll click finish. This opens a connector discovery wizard, and in this wizard you can see the different backend services which you can connect to using the connector nodes. As you can see, there's connection details for Amazon S3 already configured. I'm going to add a connection to Salesforce. So to connect to Salesforce, there are a few fields that you need to specify. You need to specify a username, password, a client ID and client secret. So I'll specify my username. Now the password needs to be the password of my Salesforce account, and it needs to be appended with a security token. Now you can request the security token from Salesforce when you log on to your Salesforce account. I now need to specify the client ID. Now the client ID contains the consumer key, and that can be retrieved from your Salesforce account as well when you log on to it. And finally, the client secrets, and this needs to contain the consumer secrets, which you can access from your Salesforce account as well. So now that I've entered those fields, I'll click connect, and I have connected successfully to the Salesforce account. And it has added a policy called Salesforce 1, and if I open the policy, it has a reference to the credential that's been added to the vault. So now that I have credentials for Salesforce and Amazon S3, I can start configuring my flow. So on my Salesforce request node, I'm going to launch the connected discovery wizard so that I can specify that I want to retrieve a contact. So it has connected to Salesforce, and I'll open up contacts and select retrieve contacts. So I'll add a condition and I'll specify first name as a filter option with a value of John. And I will also specify that I only want one contact to be retrieved and save that configuration to the node. So the Salesforce request node is now using a retrieval action on contacts, and on the filter tab you can see it has a filter option of using the first name with a value of John. And the schema has also been downloaded for handling the response from the Salesforce request node. I'll now add an Amazon S3 request node. I'll use the same policy project. Open the Connected Discovery Wizard. And I will select the action to create an object in the Amazon S3 bucket. So I will specify the bucket name Ace Sanjay bucket and click Save. And now I can see that request and response schemas have been downloaded and added to the application for the Amazon S3 request node. So I need to specify a key and the object contents as well. And I will do that through a mapping node and using the response schema from the Salesforce request node and the request schema to the Amazon S3 request node. So if I select those schemas, the response schema from Salesforce request node and the request schema for the Amazon request node. And if I expand the inputs, I can see the fields that would be returned for a Salesforce contact. And on the output, I can see that I need to specify a key, content type, and content. So for the key, I'm going to just use the ID from the Salesforce contact. For the content type will just be text plain. Now you can check the content types that are allowed by looking at the schema. And as you can see, text plain is an option, and I will use that for the value of content type. So I'll just assign the value here. And for the actual content, I will map the name of the contact and use that as a content for the object to be created. So I'll save that and return to the flow. And now I can just add an HTTP input node and configure a path suffix and specify input message passing to be JSON and add an HTTP reply node. And save that. So my Amazon S3 bucket is called Ace Sanjay bucket, and it currently has a single object in there. So I'll start my server. Server started. So first of all, I'll deploy the policy projects. So that's deployed successfully. And now I will put a message through the flow. So I'll just use an empty JSON message. And I can see I have a response back. So I can click on the message trees in the flow exerciser to see the messages that come out of the individual nodes. So after the first Salesforce request node, I can see the contact that was retrieved. And after the mapping node, I can see the fields that are about to be sent to the Amazon S3 request node. So I'm specifying the key, content type, and the content. And after the Amazon S3 request node, I can see that the object was added to the bucket. If I refresh my bucket in my Amazon S3 management console, I can see the new object has been created. And if I download the object and open it with Notepad, I can see it contains the contact's name that I retrieved from Salesforce. So in this video, I've shown how to retrieve a Salesforce contact using the Salesforce request node. We used the Connected Discovery Wizard to configure the connections to the backend Salesforce service and specified to retrieve a contact. I then used the mapping node with the schemas from the Salesforce request node and from the Amazon S3 request node so that the contact that was retrieved from Salesforce could then be added into a bucket in Amazon S3.